Uh-huh. And Lord Krishna described very clearly that when living entity comes in touch with into this material world, he is conditioned. He is conditioned by what? Three modes of material nature. What are the three modes of material nature? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now, Lord Krishna is going to elaborate much more. He is going to describe more how living entity actually gets conditioned in the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance, and so on. So, Lord Krishna is exclusively in this one, in this verse, is going to speak about conditioning in the mode of goodness. So, let's see that. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakamalamayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanakha. Yes, anybody would like to volunteer? You can raise your hand. Oh, yes, Manoj Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode develop knowledge, but they become conditioned by the concept of happiness.
Hare Krishna. So Lord is addressing Arjuna over here as Anagha. He is calling him Anagha, means oh sinless one, the one who does not do any sin. So he's addressing him as Arjuna. He has addressed Arjuna in various ways, like Partha and all. So here he is calling him Anagha. So he says Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatva. Tatra Sattvam. Sattvam means what? Mode of goodness. So the mode of goodness is very nirmal, very pure. It is the purest in this material world. So Tatra, this one, what is that? Sattvam, which is mode of goodness, is Nirmalatvat. It is very, very pure. It's the purest being in the material world. It is being compared as compared to others like mode of passion and ignorance. This is purer. And what is the effect of that? Prakashakam Anamayam. So it is completely illuminating. It is so much of prakash is there. You have so much of, illumination inside. It is without any sinful reaction. Sukha Sangena Badhanati. Anamayam means no sinful reaction. And Prakasha means illuminating. There is no sinful reactions and you are completely illuminated from within. Sukha Sangena Badhanati Jnana Sangena Chanagha. So, and those who are situated in this mode, what is their conditioning? How are they conditioned? Those who are situated in mode of goodness, they are conditioned by Sukha. Sukha means happiness. And they are having Jnana also. Lot of Jnana is there, knowledge is there, lot of Sukha is there, that is happiness. It binds the soul, even in the mode of goodness also it binds. So it binds the soul by creating attachment for what? Here the attachment is for the sense of happiness and for knowledge. That is how the mode of goodness also binds. Everything, all the three modes bind. We have to go above the three modes. So this mode, how does it bind up a soul? It binds by creating kind of attachment for the happiness and knowledge. So Prakashakamayam means illuminating. Anamayam means it healthy, full of well-being, no sinful reactions. So if we think about this word, it also means having very peaceful quality. People, some people are very, very peaceful, calm by nature. So you can say they are in the mode of goodness that time. So it is peaceful. It's an inherent, if you don't have peaceful quality, what will happen? You will be painful, you will be restless, you will be misery. A lot of discomfort is there, right? So, mode of goodness is very, very calm, quiet, peaceful, serene, and illuminating. So, Sattva Guna, if you have in you, it brings out that virtue in one's personality. How does it bring? We will see that, it illuminates the intellect with knowledge. People with lot of knowledge, suddenly that everything works out for them, and we think how intelligent they are, and nature-wise, and it makes a person very calm, settled. Whatever, the train is leaving, the airplane, you are in the traffic jam, airplane is leaving, they are still very calm and quiet, and they're very compassionate. They're compassionate for other people. They will do a lot of charity work, and they feel compassionate for others, they want to help others. So that kind of personality is people who are on mode of goodness. Health wise, they have good health, they are free from sickness, they don't fall sick. Why they don't fall sick? Why they are always in good health? Because they are having eating also good, they're eating sattvic fresh food, and they don't relish on all these masalas and, all the stale food and all. So they're not going to deep into masalas or deep into spices or deep into stale food. No, they believe in eating fresh sattvic food. So health wise, they are having good health, right? So intellect wise, it's illuminated with knowledge. Nature wise, they are very calm and quiet. So all the mental being, emotional being, health, physical being, everything, they are quite good. So that's how it happens. And what else can we tell about mode of goodness? It's completely calm, quiet, happiness, but still there is an attachment. Attachment is there. Attachment, that is what binds us to this material world. Like whenever this comes, I tell about a traveler, who was passing through the forest and three robbers attacked him. The first robber said, let's kill him and take all the wealth from him. The second one said, no, 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 let us not kill him. There is no point. We want the wealth, right? So let's just take the wealth, rob, and let's go. No point of killing him. We'll simply, tie him or bind him against a tree and then we will just take it. And they agree to that one. And they rob him of all his wealth and they move on. After they go a couple of distance away, the third robber comes back. And he feels that he feels little bit of compassion for the traveler, so he unties the rope and he takes him till the end of the forest and he shows him the way out and he says, see, you can go out this way and you will find the main road. From there you can ask for any kind of pickup, and I can't go that way, but if you follow that path you will be able to get out of this forest. And what's the main point of this whole story is that the first one was completely in tamoguna. He was in mode of goodness because he just didn't bother about anything, didn't even use his intellect or the knowledge or the brain, nothing. I will kill him and take the money. The second one, the first one's consciousness was completely degraded into ignorance. Second robber was in Rajoguna. Why? Because he didn't intend to harm the man. He was more greedy about that money. He was more desirous of the wealth. So that shows that this is mode of passion. It binds the person or soul in worldly desires. Third robber here was in Sattva. Why? Because he had that compassion for that traveler. He was worried that, oh, if I leave him over there, maybe some wild animals can eat him up or attack him or whatever. So that if you have some Sattva Guna inside, it reduces the evils in us, and the compassionate, the mode of compassion rises above and evil comes down, and it eases some kind of material discomfort, and it puts the soul on the path of righteousness or sattvaguna or virtue. So but still sattvaguna is still within this material nature. We should not get attached to it, but we should use that sattvaguna. First we should develop sattvaguna and use it to move ahead up to the transcendental platform, that is shuddha sattva, transcendental mode of goodness, that's beyond all the three modes. So it is the mode of divine energy of God, it is beyond this sattva, rajas and tamoguna. So the moment we become divine and we become God realized, then by his grace only, it can be, we cannot get it. We need to have grace and mercy of the Lord. And when Lord showers the Shuddha Sattva upon the soul, then of course it will make the senses, the mind, the intellect, everything will become very, very pure, Difficulty what here is that living entity who is situated in mode of goodness, he becomes very much conditioned because he is very much advanced in knowledge, right? He said, oh, I've got all the jnana and, I'm so much better than others. That way he's conditioned. I've got so much of jnana in me. Like scientists and philosophers and poets, Srila Prabhupada states that all the scientists, philosophers, and all these people, kavis and all, they think like that. Oh, I've got all the knowledge in the world. I'm the most, and they become very proud of that knowledge. They have good living conditions. They are happy. They are doing a lot of philanthropic work. Everything is there. But this kind of being proud of that knowledge and all, it binds them. As such, they are attracted towards mode of working in the mode of goodness, but they also have that attraction, then naturally they will have to take up body. That kind of body they will have to take. There is no possibility of liberation or anything else, right? Being transferred to Golokadham or so they may again be born as maybe philosopher, maybe scientist, maybe poet. We don't know. Again, they will be entangled in this cycle of birth and death because they are under that Maya illusion that I am doing such good work. I am doing so much of charity. I have made so donated for so many orphanages or girl education or hospitals, or I am doing this work, that work. It looks very pleasant. It seems very pleasant, but there is a pride there. Again, it will lead to cycle of birth and death. So this was about the mode of goodness. They are conditioned by sense of happiness and a sense of being very, very advanced in this material knowledge, not scriptural, material knowledge. So what is the conditioning of the person who is in the mode of passion? We'll see the points also of this one first. Okay. So let's see the points here. How the mode of goodness binds the living entity. The best example for goodness. So it is very illuminating. It frees one from sinful reaction. And those who are situated in mode of goodness, they become conditioned by sense of happiness and knowledge. That is how the mode of goodness binds. Best examples are scientists, philosophers, and poet. Who are the representatives of type of goodness? They are actually Brahmanas, right? So, how are the three modes of how the three types of conditioned living entities act? How do they? They're in goodness, they are very happy. In passion, they are very active. Restless, also desirous, also ignorance. They are very much helpless, completely. So let's move on to the next one. रजो रागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णा संग समुद्भवं तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्म संगेन देहिनम्. Yes, please, Shilpa Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Lord Krishna has made a very important point that living entity first of all is bind by this conditioned by these three modes of material nature: sattva guna, rajo guna, tamo guna, goodness, passion, ignorance. Right. So now what Lord Krishna is trying to describe, he's describing each one in detail. He is telling how this each mode is binding us. How it is binding us into this world, and it is making us not leave this world at all. We already now we know how mode of goodness binds in happiness and knowledge, right? So now Lord will tell how this mode of passion binds us. Lord says vidhi means you have to understand. Please understand. Please know, Arjuna, Kaunteya, son of Kunti. Please understand this. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi, Trishna sanga samudbhavam. So rajo ragatma, raja means what? Rajogun, mode of passion, is produced. Ragatmakam means it is born of desire. There is lot of ragatmakam means lot of desire is there. Trishna, lust is there. Sanga, and then in unlimited, you want to be attached to something. You are hankering for something. With why, what is the cause of this? What happens? What happens if you are attached to something? Karma sangena. What are you attached to? Karma sangena. So by association with fruitive activity, here you are attached to the fruitive activity. Whatever you are doing, you are attached to it. Whatever you are doing it. So Lord Krishna is very clearly telling, you are badhnati. Tan badhnati dehinam. You are binding. That badhnati means binding. To what? The dehinam. So it binds the embodied soul. This karma sangena, what happens? It binds the soul. What is that? Rajo. Rajo means our mode of passion. Ragatmikam vidhi trishna sangas. There's so much of greed, so much of attachment, so much of desire, lust is there, unlimited hankering is there. So why, when you have that in mode of passion, what happens? It binds the embodied soul by fruitive activities. Karma sangena dehin, with fruitive association with fruitive activity. So Lord Krishna is saying, oh Arjun, you know what? Rajoguna is the nature of passion. And it arises from if you have those desires, lust, affection, desire, attachment, and it is going to bind the soul with attachment to fruitive activities. It's how Lord Krishna is, very expertly explaining to us the working of this Rajoguna and how it binds us, So what does this mode of passion do? It fuels the lust. It's like, you're putting petrol in the fire. That's fueling coming up, for sensual enjoyment. Example, you go to social media, you open something, you won't even come to know the time, and it's almost 2 3 hours. I have seen so many students of mine, they go into this social media and they're completely lost. They're the way they're looking at the movies or series or whatever they're watching, it inflames desire and for mental and physical pleasures, so it also stimulates for worldly things. If somebody has got a car, he will want another car. There is no end to it. So those who are influenced by Rajoguna, they are completely engrossed in these, what do you call, worldly pursuits. They are always thinking about what's my status, my neighbor's status is this, so my status should be that, prestige, and very, very conscious, about this society. Society kya bolegi, log kya kahenge, Our neighbor has bought BMW. That's 3 series. Maybe I should get 7 series. We need to buy maybe Benz or Audi to match up with that, higher model, high end one, and then show it off to the neighbors. I recently bought this. I already have 3 cars. I bought the fourth one, just just like that, to go around with my family. Always anxious, in their career. My colleague has got the raise or promotion. Why did I not get? I am also working hard, and he will want ambition. There is no end to ambition. You should have, but there is no end to it. You are attached to it. That is the thing that is wrong. You're attached to your family, your home, thinking about it all the time. My friend has one house. We should go for a palatial house, maybe a bigger 3 bedroom. No, 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 5 bedroom now. You know. Have you seen Ambani's house? It was in news for a while when they first moved into it. It was like some, God knows, $4.6 billion or how much we don't know. They are billionaires anyway. That's their private residence. And the top 6 floors completely residential and lot of parking space for about 150, 160, 170 car spaces. There is no limit. There is no limit to desires. There is no limit to ambition. So after one has to understand, that we are over here temporary. All this doesn't matter. The position, the status, the pride of having that status. Once long back, this is not of now, long back, Amitabh Bachchan had said, the Bollywood actor, he had once said, at the peak of his career, when he was at the peak, complete peak, he was traveling once by plane. And there was a passenger sitting next to him, an elderly gentleman, He was dressed in a simple shirt and pants and appeared to be kind of middle class and but well educated. So other passengers immediately came to know is Amitabh Bachchan, the superstar. But this gentleman appeared to be not at all concerned by his presence or his position. He was just reading his paper, looking out of the window here and there in the plane. And when he was being served, he was just eating, drinking, whatever was being given to him. And then Amitabh Bachchan, he wanted to strike a conversation with this gentleman. So he just smiled, and the man smiled back. Hello, yeah, okay. So just nice small talk they did for a while. Then he brought up the subject of the movies, Amitabh Bachchan. And he said, oh, do you watch films? He said, yeah, I do, but very few. I don't. I saw one many, many years ago. I don't say it off. So Amitabh Bachchan, oh, you know what? I work in that industry, this movie industry. I said, wow, that's nice, very nice. What do you do? I said, oh, I am an actor. So the man said, oh, that's wonderful, very nice. That's it. And there was no more conversation. When they landed, so Amitabh Bachchan went to him and he shook his hand and he said, okay, it was very nice to, have spoken to you. Very good to travel with you. By the way, my name is Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. Very proudly, with a lot of pride, he was saying. The man shook his hands back and he said, thank you. Very nice to have met you. I am J.R.D. Tata. Mr. Tata, the billionaire industrialist who owns this Tata group of companies. That kind of simplicity he had. That day, Amitabh Bachchan learned, oh my God, don't, no matter how big you think, what your position is, what society thinks about you, and how proud you feel about your all this and ambition you have and all that, there is always someone bigger than you who will humble you down. And one should not be in that mode of passion of, greed, ambition, and show off and position and all that. One has to be very humble. He said that. So, like how we need to be humble, like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told us, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishnuna Manina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So we should be as humble as the blade of grass. Somebody respects us or not, doesn't matter. We should respect them. That should be the case, right? But here in the mode of passion, they are almost convinced that, they should get all the pleasure in the world. So what do? They work very hard, 24/7 they will do. Previously, if they were working for, say, 9 hours, they will go ahead and work for more. They will do some overtime before just to earn extra money so that they can buy extra cars, extra house, extra wealth, extra this thing. So this mode of passion, there is no end to it. It has lot of desires. It increases the desire. And the desire, what does it do? It fuels more, wants more passion. There is no end to greed, right? As the saying goes, nature has enough for our need, but nature does not have enough for our greed, right? So the sense of desire, the rajoguna, all this, they nourish each other, and the soul is trapped in it. Same question, how to get away from this? How to break out of this? It is to engage in karma yoga. Because you are attached to your work, so you have to have karma yoga. Means you have to begin to offer the results of your work to the God, to get out of this passion thing. Because you are attached to work, so give that result of the work to God. Then what will happen? How will it help us? It will slowly, slowly, not suddenly, will create detachment from this world. And then slowly that effect of rajoguna will slowly decrease, or you can say pacify. Srila Prabhupada said, this whole material world is more or less in the mode of passion only. He very clearly said this modern society, they are way ahead in that standard, in that mode of passion. In Vedic times, people were people used to be glorified, when they were in the mode of goodness. Why? Because they were free from sin, and naturally they were glorified in the past. And now, who are glorified? People who are successful, people who are very rich, people who are, buying 10 cars. They can't stop praising such people and glorifying them. Well, come to think of it, there is no liberation for those who are in the mode of goodness. What to speak of those who are entangled in the mode of passion then? Mode of goodness also they are entangled. So what to talk about mode of passion, right? So anyway, let's try to understand what are the characteristics of the mode of ignorance now. How the person is bound, and then what Lord Krishna has to say about these mode of ignorant people. Let's go through the points of this shloka first, very quickly. Passion conditioning, how the mode of passion binds the living entities by ropes of desire and attachment. Their happiness and knowledge, mode of goodness. Here, desire and attachment, characterized by strong attraction between man and woman also. That passion is also there. What is advancement of modern civilization? It is considered in the mode of passion. Whatever this modern society, Srila Prabhupada says. What are the some products of mode of passion? They hanker about material enjoyment. They want honor in the society. They think their position. They want their family, wife, house, children. They want to construct big houses for their own sense gratification and all that. They are bound to the fruits of work. What is their destiny? There is no chance of liberation. तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत. Yes, please, Triveni Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. O son of Bharata, the mode of ignorance causes the delusion of all living entities. The result of this mode is madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you. After speaking about the mode of goodness, after speaking about the mode of passion, mode of goodness is happiness and knowledge. They are attached to mode of goodness, desire and attachment. And now Lord Krishna is drawing our attention to tamoguna, mode of ignorance, and how it binds us in this material world. So he says, Lord starts with Bharata, O son of Bharat, tamasto jnanajam vidhi. Tamas ajnana. This is completely ajnana. Tama means mode of ignorance. Tamaguna, tamoguna. So tama to ajnana. Ajnanajam vidhi. Understand. Vidhi means understand. This tamoguna is completely full of ajnanam, ignorance. They don't know anything. And then he says, Mohanam Sarvadehinam. And it pulls all the dehis, all the embodied beings into Mohana. Moha means delusion, illusion. They're completely in some other world, illusion only. So what else it does? It gives rise to pramada. Mada means madness. Alasya, laziness. Nirbihi. Nirbihi means completely, they don't want to be awake, sleep, basically sleep. So they are lazy, they are completely mad, and they are always wanting to sleep all the time. So that binds the condition. Tan badhnati, nibadhnati. It binds the soul. So that's what Lord Krishna tells about mode of ignorance. He says Sattva we know it binds us to happiness and knowledge. Rajoguna, we saw that it is like for attachment for fruitive actions. And we saw in mode of ignorance, Lord Krishna is saying they are bound to madness, pramada, alasya, laziness, and nidra, sleep. All these three modes, when we are analyzing, we should analyze, for ourselves. We should introspect first, self introspect. Which mode am I in that way? So, very simply put, tamoguna is, you can say, opposite of sattvaguna. Very simply, if we want to put, because persons who are influenced by it, they get pleasure by sleeping for more number of hours. They are lazy. They don't want to finish their job in time. They don't want to be active. They don't want to do anything. And completely in intoxication, many people get into that violence, gambling. They don't have any kind of discrimination between what is right, what is wrong, what am I doing. They do not even hesitate if they want to cheat somebody, kill someone, or behave very immorally with somebody, just because they want to do it. That's it. Who cares? They talk like this. Who cares? And they whatever duty they have to do, whatever responsibility, it becomes burdensome for them. They cannot. They're too burdened to do it. And then because they cannot do it, they start neglecting it. Because they are neglecting it, they become very lazy, very always sleeping, very slothy, very lethargic all the time. I remember one student of mine. He was in when he was in grade 12, was very bright, very intelligent, very, very, clever in his studies. He was doing his A levels, and he did very well. He did. And then he went on to, he moved to college also. But unfortunately, he fell into bad company. He went to US also to study, and then he resorted to all sorts of bad stuff, vaping, weed and dark web, and you name it, and he did it. So he got into a lot of fights also. Once I saw him, he had a black eye. I said, "What had happened to you?" So he said, "Oh, somebody boxed me." And mode of ignorance had clouded him so heavily that he considered his own parents, who were there, his well wishers, he used to consider them as his enemies, you know. And by the time he came to his senses, I won't say he has come to his senses even now. I'm tracking what he's doing. It's too late for him. So sometimes, his mother calls me to counsel him. So now he is diagnosed with BPD, borderline personality disorder, and he's going through therapy. Still, his mind is playing up, with him, and he wants to get into the same stuff. He's still chatting with those old people, and he's not able to get away from that. That's mode of ignorance. And when mode of ignorance dominates, it's just hell. So in this way, mode of ignorance, it leads the soul deeper and deeper into the darkness of ignorance. It becomes totally unmindful of, that we are spirit soul. We have a, we have a spiritual identity. We need to have a goal in life. We need to have a purpose in life, and we need to progress in our spiritual journey. That's why we have got this human birth. Nothing. It doesn't matter to them at all. You speak to them, they will look at you as if you are mad. So the mode of ignorance, that's why I said, is completely opposite of mode of goodness. And mode of ignorance, they are completely like mad people. Srila Prabhupada states, suppose he says some person's grandfather has died. Everyone knows that he has died, right? Everyone can see that. So people should actually understand that they will not stay here forever. Koi bhi amar nahi rahega. They have to die one day or the other. Man is mortal after all. His children that he has they will also die one day. Death is sure, as the saying goes in English, right? English, we have this, as sure as death. Still, Srila Prabhupada says people are accumulating money madly and working day and night, all day, all night, not caring about eternal spirit soul. Where is the food for soul? Nothing. Madness, complete madness. And they're very reluctant. You talk to them, come into this bhakti marg, they will look at you like, you are just gone crazy. They are very reluctant to come into this spiritual understanding. Such people are very, very lazy. When you ask them to come to temple or in some kind of bhakti vriksha class or and some kind of spiritual understanding, like you all joined Bhagavad Gita and you're so keen to understand also, but they are not interested. You will see that they will not be, wanting to come also. You will call them however many times you may try. So they're not even active, like, a man who is controlled by the mode of passion, he's not even active. They're so lethargic. So another symptom of mode of goodness is that he sleeps more than required. Srila Prabhupada says 6 hours sleep is more than enough. But man who is in mode of ignorance, he will sleep like 10, 12, you name it, he will keep sleeping only. And he's always dejected, he's in depression, addicted to alcohol, and all this bad videos, and those are the symptoms. So you have to understand when you see such people. So see, we devotees, we should plan, we should mold our lifestyles in such a way that most of the time we spend should be in the mode of goodness. At least we should try, and we should practice a devotional service in, so that we can elevate ourselves higher and higher than the mode of goodness also. But at least we should reach the mode of goodness 24/7 at least, then we can go to Shuddha Sattva and pure goodness. So now Lord Krishna is given detailed knowledge about Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna, and how their characteristics are, right? So Lord will summarize all this in the next shloka. But again, we'll see the points very quickly. Ignorance condition, how it binds in madness, indolence, and sleep. That's how it binds, right? So what are the characteristics? They in opposite of mode of goodness. And one cannot understand, it's like, in very peculiar. They completely, they're under the spell of ignorance or madness, you can say. It is manifested by madness and laziness. 6 hours sleep is enough. They sleep for more than that. What is their destiny? Again, no chance of liberation. So we move on to the next one. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajah karmani bharata jnanama avrityatu tamaha pramade sanjayatyuta. Yes, please. Anybody would like to read?
If nobody is reading, Mataji, can
Hare
you?
Krishna Mataji.
Yes, please.
O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions are one to happiness, passion, conditions to one to fruitive action, and ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So Lord Krishna spoke about all the three, right? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now he's summarizing all three in one shloka itself, and he says, Bharata, O son of Bharata, O Arjun, Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati, means the mode of goodness, Sattvam, binds us with what? Sukha, happiness. We saw that, right? And Nibadhananti also we saw in the previous verse, which means bind. So Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati, it binds us with that one. Sanjayati here means bind. There it was in the previous one, they used the word Nibadhananti for bind. Here they use the word Sanjayati to bind. So we saw Nibadhananti, right? So Rajah Karmani. Rajah Karmani means Raja means Rajoguna, mode of passion. How does it bind? It binds one in Karmani, which is fruitive activity. Two, but. So Jnanamavritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayat. So in tamaha or tamas mode or mode of ignorance, what happens? Jnanam. Jnanama kya, what happens to the jnana? Jnana is avritya, means it is completely gone. It's like covered completely. And again, Sanjayati, he is bound in what? Pramada madness. Completely bound in madness. His jnana is covered. He doesn't have any discriminatory power to, see what is right and wrong. So in just a short, he has given the summary of, whether you are, so that we can understand whether we are in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. We are prone to be in either of one, we are either one or the other. It's like mode of goodness. If we are person is tied up, it's like he's tied up with a gold chain. And if he is in the mode of passion, it's like he's being tied with a silver chain. And if he is in mode of goodness, it's like he's being tied with an iron chain. Now, if we have ask a question, whose situation is better situation? Obviously, whoever has a brain or sane person will say all three are tied up. Where is the question of being better situation in this way? All three are bound in this material world. Okay, mode of goodness is definitely better than passion. Passion is better than ignorance. All that is good, but all three are bound, right? We need to get away from this. We don't want to be tied against a tree or a pole. So the three modes of material nature, they are like the three primary colors. We have these three primary colors, right? Red, green, and blue. RGB we say whenever you are whoever is using colors, they will know. And then various combinations are made out of these three colors in different proportion. You can get different variety of colors. In all this same way, material nature also has these three modes, sattva, raja, and tamoguna, right? SRT, you can say that is RGB, this is SRT. How artist uses RGB or red, green, and blue to get different colors when he wants to make something on a portrait or something. Same way SRT, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, it produces 8.4 million species, different species in this world, just by using SRT. Tattvaguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. Some they have more, some they have less. Just coming in contact with this material nature, 8.4 billion million species, different species are produced. So in Bhagavad Gita, in this chapter itself, in 6th shloka, what did Lord say? Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakashaka Anamayam Sukha Sangena Badnati Jnana Sangena Chanaka. Means what? Krishna says that happiness, knowledge, these Sattva people, they're quite happy, and they're having a lot of knowledge, material knowledge, and they don't do much sin also. That's the mode of goodness. And if anybody is in mode of goodness, they're kind of happy, calm, happy. It's not that one needs to have a very beautiful home or a beautiful wife or a beautiful career or wonderful career, great career to become happy. If you're in mode of goodness, you're naturally happy. That's your nature. It becomes your nature, and you will have proper knowledge. You will not, that mujhe paap nahi karna, I should not commit. This is not ethical. That's how you will say. Means you are in mode of goodness that time. So mode of passion, you will have unlimited desires. Desires ka naam list ka khatam hi nahi hota. There is no end to that list. You will never do any action unless isme mujhe kya milega. What am I to get in this? Is there any profit for me in this? Otherwise, what's the point? And in mode of ignorance, as I told, it's opposite of Sattva-guna. Person is completely lazy, mad, crazy, sleeps a lot, having all destructive kind of ideas. So mode of goodness, as we told, scientists, philosophers, philanthropists, they are very much into that mode. Mode of passion, they are always wanting to get more and more, but they will do some charity also because they will get some name and fame. They will take a selfie and post it on social media. I did this, that I thing never goes. So they are still in passion mode, mode of ignorance. They don't care about anything because their knowledge is completely covered. Avritya. So their knowledge is jnanam avritya. So the jnanam is completely covered, and they are completely pramade. They are completely mad, whatever does, they don't care about anybody. Their intellect is crowded. They think like, okay, vaping brings happiness to me, doing drugs brings happiness to me, so what, it's okay. Like we say, everyone knows cigarette smoking is injurious to health, right? It's written on the pack also. Every pack has carries the warning. It is issued by government authorities only. So cigarette smokers also read this, right? They must be reading it definitely, but did they stop? No, they don't refrain from smoking. So that's because that discriminatory power is not there. Someone very jokingly said that cigarette, it's a pipe with a fire on at one end and a fool at another end. So that's how it is when it comes in tamoguna, eating of tambaku and alcohol and dark web and all vaping and drugs. No need to say. So it lets them access stuff that's not legal, while hiding your identity, this dark web. So now the question is it possible to be only in one mode? Is it only possible to be in mode of goodness? Is it possible to be only in the mode of passion? Is it possible to be only in the mode of ignorance? Which, if a question is asked, which mode are you in? Which mode do you belong to? Which mode is acting upon you? Then we might be confused, Sometimes we can be in mode of goodness, sometimes passion, sometimes ignorance. How come this is happening? How come we are in different modes? How is it that sometimes we are in the mode of goodness, sometimes mode of passion, sometimes ignorance is acting? Lord is going to clear that, in the next section. So let's see that. This is recognizing the supremacy of a mode within a person. From 10 to 13, Lord is going to clarify this one, how to recognize the supremacy. So, rajas tamascha vibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata, rajas sattvam tamaschaiva tamas sattvam rajas tatha. Yes, please. Swapnil Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sometimes the mode of passion becomes prominent, defeating the mode of goodness, O son of Bharata, and sometimes the mode of goodness defeats passion, and at other times the mode of ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So we understood the basic characteristics of Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Now, question is, does this guna, does it become very prominent? Does it dominate within a person? If so, how does it dominate? For that, Lord is telling, Rajas Tamas Chabi Bhuyaha. So he's saying Rajas, Tama, and Sattvam Bhavati Bharata. Rajas Tamas Chabi Bhuya, Sattvam Bhavati Bharata. He said, O son of Bharata, O Arjuna, the mode of goodness, Sattvam, becomes prominent. Sattvam Bhavati. By doing what? It is abhibhuya. Abhibhuya means what? Surpassing. Surpassing means defeating. It defeats. Abhibhuya, what does it defeat? The mode of passion, Raja and Tama. Rajas, Tamas, Abhibhuya, Sattvam Bhavati Bhav. So Sattvam becomes the winner. And why it defeats the Rajas and Tamas sometimes? The mode of passion and ignorance. And then it is said over here, Rajas, Sattvam, Tamas Chaiva. So Rajas, Sattvam, Tamas, Chaiva, and sometimes what happens? The mode of passion, Rajas, it becomes prominent. Sattvam and Tama, it becomes prominent then. Sattvam and Tamas, the mode of ignorance. Tamas, Sattvam, Rajas, Sattvam. Similarly, Tamas sometimes becomes much more prominent and above Sattvam and Rajoguna. That's what it is written over. Lord Krishna is explaining. Same individual's temperament can oscillate among these three gunas. That's how he's telling. It's like, the three wrestlers in the picture, as you can see, they're competing with each other. So each keeps throwing the other one down. So sometimes the first one is on the top, sometimes the second one is on the top, sometimes the third one is on the top. Same way, these gunas also, it keeps dominating our temperament, and that's how there is no rule. How long it will last, we don't know. One guna may dominate the mind and intellect for, say, a short period. and the other one can stay there for an hour or longer than that. You never know. There is no rule for it. If Sattva Guna is dominant that time, we're very happy, peaceful, smiling, and we are very generous. Oh, you want some help? Oh, I will do that also for you. That is the result. When somebody is in a Rajoguna mode, that time very passionate and envious of others and greed and all that. I want this also. Why is he only doing? I will do this to get that. How to get that and rise above and all that. Lot of ambition and envious thing is going on. And when Tamoguna becomes heavy on you or prominent on you, then one is completely on the bed only all the time, or with the remote control lying on the sofa 24/7 watching something or the other, or maybe not, or watching all different sort of thing, resenting others, anger and violence happening and shouting at each other, doubting other people. Like for example, we are all sitting in this room, we are doing Bhagavad Gita now, and there is no disturbance. All of us are focusing on how these modes are working upon us, and we are very peaceful. So we are in a very sattvic mode. Then after you finish your studies, you may go to the living room, or you may switch on the television, or you will be seeing different now elections are going on, or you can see different images. So your mind goes into that rajasic mode, and then you start the senses will say more and more, so it's hankering for those sense pleasures. Then while you're watching your favorite channel or something, somebody comes from behind and changes the channel or something, and then that causes a lot of disturbance in you, because you are so you focused in that. Immediately the Rajoguna moves away, and it gives way to Tamoguna. And because your mind is now filled with anger, and now mind is, that's how the mind sways between different gunas. So, or after class, you go shopping somewhere, you see clothes, perfumes, bags, mind is different to Rajoguna. Now you want to own all of them. But at the same time, maybe your brother or your dad or your husband or whoever is with you, or your mom, whoever is with you, they may say, no, 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 you already have so much with you. Why do you want to, it's not a need, it's just a want. So immediately, start flaring up. What are you saying? I don't have so many, just you always, and you will dig up and you will go 20 years back of what they had said that time. So you're degrading your senses to tamas mode, at that time. Early morning, usually, Srila Prabhupada says, it's the early in the morning during like Brahma Muhurta and all that till 7:38. It's sattvic mode, and then as late morning and early afternoon, mode of passion takes over. Slowly evening and night, another mode takes over. So in this way, the whole every day the mood keeps changing. That's how Lord Krishna is telling. Why is it changing? What is happening? Lord Krishna is making it very clear that one of the mode will always be prominent. But how will we get to know? By the characteristics we can see in a person, in his behavior. We can easily make out. If he's becoming very angry or he's sleeping 24/7, we can know mode of ignorance has taken over, right? We can see that. So, as devotees, as sadhakas, it is very important for us that we try our best to remain in the mode of goodness. Early morning time is the best time, right? It's mode of goodness. So, chanting, that's why is recommended by all our acharyas and gurus, that it should happen in Brahma Muhurta between 3:30 to 6:30. And then our chanting will be of quality chanting, right? The chanting will be good. Because why it is good? Very simple logic. No phone calls, no work calls, no bank transactions to do, no housework to do, no cooking to do. So we'll be able to focus very nicely. That's a very logical way of thinking also. And as the day progresses, naturally there'll be so many things to do. Thought process will change. That's why if you see the quality of chanting is not very great if we do somewhere in the afternoon or evening. That's why gurus and acharyas say that, in spiritual life, we should always try to chant early in the morning. So here in this shloka also, Lord Krishna is telling very clearly how, there is a fight or wrestling or tug of war between the three modes of material nature. And one mode takes over by defeating the other two modes of nature. And it's all there. So in everyone, it is all there. So after having said this, Lord Krishna is going to talk about what exactly happens when a person gets into either or any one of the modes as such. So Lord will tell us how the effects of these three modes are manifested. How these are manifested, he will tell us. So let's see that one. सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात् विवृद्धिं सत्त्वमित्युत. Yes, please. Triveni Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Symptoms of goodness. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, your voice is very low. Next time you check it. Check your mic.
Okay, Mataji.
Lord is going to describe the characteristics of mode. You know, it starts with mode of goodness only. So here, what is he saying? Symptoms of goodness. Sarva dwareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate. Sarva dwareshu. In all the gates. Dwar means gate. Now, what are the gates? Lord is saying, dehe asmin. Where are the gates? Dehe asmin. In the deha. So, what are the 9 gates? We all know. I will explain later. What happens over here? Prakasha upajayate. The quality of illumination, develops in all these gates that we have inside this body. So what are they illuminated with? They're illuminated jnanam. So jnanam yada tada vidyat vivriddhim sattva. So it is illuminated with jnanam. When? At the time, then we should know vivriddhim sattvam. Whenever we see that all the body inside we can feel, that we are feeling there is some kind of joy, happiness, blissfulness, calmness, sereneness, and it is filled with, and we are getting good knowledge. We are able to imbibe the knowledge. We are able to understand everything. We should understand there is a symptom of sattva guna or mode of goodness. That sattva guna has increased. Vivriddhim. We need to understand that it has vriddhi hua, means the sattva guna has increased in us. So we have to analyze ourselves according to this. When all the 9 gates of our body gets illuminated with knowledge, we can say, yes, we are in the mode of goodness. Lord, again, he is repeating how the mode influences our thinking, Srila Prabhupada also explains in his purport that Krishna says that in the mode of goodness, all gates of the body are illuminated. And Srila Prabhupada very clearly gives in the purport that there are 9 gates in the body. Those are 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, mouth, and anus and genitals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 genitals and anus. So these are called 9 gates because when one dies, the soul actually leaves from any one of these openings. It has to get out, right? So it will go out of these 9 gates only. So we live in this city of 9 gates, and these gates that time are illuminated with mode of goodness. That means we do not see anything that is bad happening. We don't want to see. We don't want to associate with anything. We do not want to hear any nonsensical things or gossip or anything. We don't want to. We don't want to speak anything bad also that time. Mode of goodness, we don't have any interest to do any dirty things. In mode of goodness, we can see things in the right position. We can hear things in the right position. We can taste things in the right position. We are not bothered about all nonsensical things. We are cleansed from inside and outside. In every gate, there is symptom of good happiness, Every gate is very happy. No problem. Sickness is not there. You are feeling very good. So these modes, these influences our attitudes toward God also. Like to give example, the mode of goodness becomes very prominent in the mind. We may start thinking, I have received so much grace from my Guru, right? I should try and I should work very hard to do my sadhana well so that I can, this human life is so precious. I should not waste my time. I should not be doing all these stupid things, and let me just move on towards the spiritual path. This is how we think in the mode of goodness. So this is about mode of goodness. Now let's try to understand about the mode of passion. What are the effects of mode of passion by which, we will be able to analyze ourselves as to, am I in the mode of passion or not? Let's see what Lord will say in the next verse. Lobha pravrittirarambha karmanam shamaspraha rajasyetani jayante vivriddhe bharatarshava. Yes, please. Krishna Prasad Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. O chief of Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So as we are seeing the characteristics of effects of different modes on us, right? So we already saw mode of goodness, how, when mode of goodness increase, how the 9 gates are completely illuminated, as Srila Prabhupada says, right? Now, what happens when the mode of passion manifests? So Lord is saying what? Bharata Shabha, again he is addressing Arjuna. What is he saying? Rajas etani jayante vivriddhe. When Rajas becomes vriddhi, or when Rajas is in excess, or mode of passion increases, or in all it develops, what happens? What are the symptoms that develop? Lobha. You start having that greed, or you get great attachment. Pravritta arambha, karmanam. So arambha means you start endeavoring for what? Karmanam. You start wanting some kind of worldly gain. Something, isme mera kya hai? What can I gain out of this? Karmanam, you're already doing something, fruitive activity. You're going and doing it, and you want recognition for that. You're not giving up the result, okay? So you're wanting that worldly gain. And then ashamaspruha. Ashamaspruha means uncontrollable desire. You're craving for something. That is ashamaspruha. So these are the symptoms when you are, in rajas, and when it becomes vivriddhe, when it increases, then you get that lobha, and then pravritti arambha, and karmana, and ashamaspruha. So Arjuna, you have to understand, okay, in the mode of passion, Lord Krishna is telling him, Bharata Shabha, you have to understand in the mode of passion, the symptoms are greed and, wanting for worldly gain, restlessness, you have a lot of craving and, lobha and all that. So if we introspect as to which mode I am in, then we have to look at these symptoms. We have to ponder upon these symptoms, whether I am in greed or attachment. Do I have the tendency to do fruitive activity and not give up the results? Do I have intense endeavor for worldly gain, what I can gain from this world? Then uncontrollable desires are coming up, or cravings are coming up in the mind. Am I having these symptoms? Then little bit of mode of passion is in us. Mode of goodness, person is satisfied. Mode of passion, he keeps on hankering for more and more and more, and he is never satisfied, always craving, always, wanting to increase the positions that whatever he has. Same way, we lot of attachment to our whatever work we are doing, we are attached. So we will work very hard to fulfill these uncontrollable desires, because they are coming up again and again and again. So this hard work is compared to the hard work like of a donkey in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada says that it is compared to a donkey, this kind of hard work. So whoever is in the mode of passion, he is never satisfied with whatever position he has got. He's hankering for better position, better position. There's no end to it. Srila Prabhupada states that whoever is in the mode of passion, if he wants to, for example, construct a residential house, he will want to have a palatial house. If he is able to, as if, he's living there permanently, eternally, he will never get out of that. We have to die one day. If, for example, if he has a 21-inch TV, he will want 52 inches. 52 inches, because his neighbor has 52, he will go for higher one. So this way, he's hankering for sense gratification. There is no end. So he is enjoying with his friends all around him, and full wife, kids, friends, parties, gratifying his senses to the maximum level. It's like, putting ghee or petrol in the fire. What will happen? It will blaze. And then the senses will, if we give something to the senses to, gratify, it will crave for more. Mujhe aur chahiye, dil mange more. So that's when we have to understand that these symptoms are in the mode of passion. Now, how to put a stop to it? It can be only done when we can dovetail all these activities in the service of Krishna. Why? Because then when we engage our senses in the service of Krishna to gratify the senses of Krishna, not our senses, gratify the senses of Krishna, when we put our senses to gratify Krishna's senses, at that time, our senses will come under control, because we are thinking about only Krishna and nothing else. Otherwise, very difficult, says Srila Prabhupada. So after understanding goodness, passion, now, of course, we have that eagerness to understand about ignorance, and but still, let's try to understand about it in the next verse, if we have time. Prakasho pravrittishcha pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivriddhe kuru nandana. Yes, please. Swapnil Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. O son of Kuru, when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So when it comes to ignorance, Lord Krishna is saying, Kuru Nandana, oh Arjuna, now he's calling him Kuru Nandana. Tamasi vivriddhe, when tamasi has becomes more, when it develops, etani jayante, when these tamasi vritti comes into, it manifests. So what will manifest? Aprakasha. Aprakasha means there was prakasham, right, in mode of goodness. This is aprakasha, opposite, darkness. Apravritti means inactivity. There is pravritti here, inactivity, apravritti, inactivity. Pramada, again, 3 times is used everywhere in ignorance. Pramada means madness, and moha, illusion. So, aprakasha, then apravritta, pramada, and moha. So, darkness, then inertia or inactivity, and then madness and delusion. That's what will come in this. So when there is no illumination, knowledge will be absent. That's mode of ignorance for us. So they will do whimsically whatever they want to do. Even though he may have the capability to work, he will not do the work at all. So these are the symptoms in the mode of goodness. It will actually influence our attitude towards God also. Because if we are in the mode of ignorance and it dominates upon us, we think, I'm not really sure if there is any God or not. Who has seen God? Have you seen God? Why are you wasting your time like this in sadhana and all? Sleep, yaar. Kya kar rahe ho? Just not using your brain, man. Come on. That's how they talk. So many problems can be sorted out. Life will become so peaceful if we just don't react when we are in a lower mode. When we are in mode of ignorance, we have to completely, immediately, hit our mind and say, hey, come out of it. So because the mind fluctuates, right? In this, it's very natural for the mind to fluctuate in these 3 gunas. So what needs to be done is we should not get dejected. We should not feel, low about it. We should try to understand. Now we know how it works, right? So we know it, how to get better in this situation. So here what helps is sadhana. What do we understand by sadhana means to fight with the flow of these 3 gunas. That is fighting. With whom are we fighting? In our mind, we are fighting. We are going to force it to maintain the devotional feelings towards God and Guru. That's how we have to control our mind. If we don't control it, will go wherever it wants to. If our consciousness remained at the highest consciousness all day, no need for sadhana also. But that's not what's happening, right? It goes down slowly. But our mind naturally fluctuates. What is happening in the material world? Unnecessary things are happening around the world, around our neighborhood. We are using our intellect to understand all that. So it moves us away from the spiritual realm. So, but anyway, we need to move. Initially, it may be difficult for us to practice, but slowly it becomes, easy. How it is like, driving a car. Initially, if you don't know how to drive a car, it's difficult. How to do, you're not able to, use the steering wheel and move it around. But you slowly with practice, it comes very natural. Like how swimming seems impossible at first, but with practice, you are able to wade in the water like a fish. After speaking all this, then there is a question. A man who has lived in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance after death, what is his destination? Lord Krishna will tell us in the next 2 verses, in the next section, that we'll move on to the next section, which is 14 to 18 tomorrow. Hare Krishna. I'll stop over.